Hey, you're watching a Mormon Truth video. Actually, this is just going to be a commentary. So it's going to be my new video-based commenting thing here instead of writing comments. So this comment is going to be an invitation for Book of Mormon Reader to respond on her Alma chapter 20 reading, because there's some stuff in there that I want to comment on and see what you got to say there, Book of Mormon Reader. So I'm going to paste this on your site, and it'll be my video-based comment to you. So this is going to be like on, Mormon Truth videos instead of on Dodger Game, because it's going to be short. I created this channel for that purpose. So anyway, anybody doesn't know, Book of Mormon Reader, she's done a lot of Book of Mormon readings, took off for a while, and started up again, and apparently in Alma. So Alma chapter 20. She does a really good job, and I kind of screwed up the recording when I was going to use the little portions of what she's got. There's just a couple verses, so I'm just going to get in there and take a look at it myself because it doesn't do her justice. Anyway, so here we go. Taking a look at this. It's Alma chapter 20, and we get into it, and we get to verses, like starting at verse 16. So Lamoni and Ammon are journeying in the land here, and what's going to happen is, I'm going to pause this right here. So they're going to try to free, Aaron and all the missionary brothers of Ammon that have been captured and thrown in Lamanite jails. And so Lamoni's dad, King Laman, the king over all the land, spots him with his Nephite, and he'd also blown off the annual feast or whatever. So he's not too happy with him, and he gets upset. And he decides, well, you know what? Tells him to kill Ammon. He says no, so he says, okay, great. He raises his sword to smite his own child. Pretty wrong there. So what happens here is Ammon stands up for Lamoni here. And this is a really interesting exchange of the doctrine that's being taught here, because Ammon is supposedly representing, God as a prophet here. And let's look at what he says. That king draws his sword to smite his own child, but Ammon stands forth and says, "Hey, not going to happen. Nevertheless, it's better that your son should die, for behold, he's repentant of his sins. But if you should die right now in your anger, thy soul could not be saved." Okay, and then he says again, you must forbear, because you'd be shedding innocent blood, and this blood would cry from the ground to the Lord for vengeance to come upon you, and perhaps you would lose your soul. Perhaps you would lose your soul. So I just find this amazing. This is what's being preached in the Book of Mormon here as, God's truth, and this is Christianity. He's saying that perhaps he would lose his soul if he sheds innocent blood, murdering his son. But if he doesn't kill his son, and he just happens to die before he becomes a Christian, dies in his anger and his sins, he cannot be saved. Cannot be saved. I mean, it's hopeless. He has not yet repented of his sins and dies in his state of sinfulness. He cannot be saved. And that sounds like Christianity. And that's what it's teaching here. And we read also that the Book of Mormon supposedly contains the fullness of the gospel. That's what it says in Doctrine and Covenants section 20. That it contains the fullness of the gospel. But this is not the doctrine that's taught. Thy soul could not be saved. So, could not be saved in the post-mortal existence by the faithful elders preaching the gospel and baptism for the dead taking place, could not be saved. This is contrary to what we're taught in the Doctrine and Covenants with the redemption for the dead doctrine, and it also teaches an interesting thing, that basically the worst thing you can do is not be Christian or walk away from your religion. You could help people all your days, you could give everything you had to people in need, but if you ditch the church, that's the worst thing you can do. That's, if you're sinning against the Holy Ghost, if you had a testimony from the Holy Ghost, you're done forever. And this basically says, Book of Mormon tells you you're going to burn in hell. It talks about fire and brimstone. It does. So it's worse to not accept Jesus than it is to kill people. Not only that, we read where Mormon is telling Moroni that, little children don't need to be baptized. And he says, in fact, this thought is so wicked that if someone dies while they're thinking that a child needs to be baptized, they're going to go to hell. That's actually what it's taught. They would be damned for all eternity for thinking that children need to be baptized. Little children. It actually says that in the Book of Mormon. So these are some pretty weird doctrines, and they don't seem to make a whole lot of sense, so I'm soliciting commentary on this. Book of Mormon Reader, I'm put this on your channel here, and I'm asking you these questions, so I want to see if I get a response. What do you have to say about this? It's subject matter from what you're reading here, and I want to hear what you've got to say, because to me it does not make sense. Alrighty, it's been a Mormon Truth video. Check out Book of Mormon Reader if you like hearing the Book of Mormon read. She does a really great job, and you can see the print going. You can teach your children to read. Of course, I don't believe the Book of Mormon's true, so maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but